Hey YouTube, what's up? So today I'm going to be talking about those annoying copycats. What do you do when somebody steals your design, particularly pixel for pixel, which we call P4P in the POD industry? It's so annoying. And it's the reason people like myself and many other people that do videos on print on demand don't share their art. It's so annoying. And I know there are people that watch and they go, oh, we don't believe you. I don't care. I don't care if people don't believe me. If you don't believe me, don't watch. But I get so tired of people stealing my stuff. So what I'm going to do in this video is talk about how to report your work. I'm going to actually show you how I fill out the Amazon infringement form. I'm also going to talk a little bit about the difference between copyright and trademark, because some of you all get that confused. I could tell by the comments. I'm also going to give you a couple of tips for minimizing theft. I don't think you can ever fully prevent somebody from stealing your design. I mean, if somebody is savvy enough and they want it, they will get it. And I'm not going to talk about what they do because I'm not going to help anybody out with regards to stealing. But I do think there are some things that you can do to minimize theft. And then finally, I'm going to talk about why I don't chase copycats. If I find something, I'll report it, but I don't spend much time chasing them. And I know this is a controversial thing. Some of you are not going to agree with me on this, but hey, if we all agreed, it'd be kind of boring, right? But before I get into this, I have to give a shout out to my Uber driver, Grant. I said I was going to do this. So I came back from the airport a couple of days ago and I was wheeling my luggage to the back of his SUV and he looks at me and he goes, I know you. And I'm like, you do? He's like, yeah, you do YouTube videos. You guys know what? I've been recognized, probably 8 to 10 times since I've been on YouTube. Not a whole lot, but it's always when I'm traveling. It's either at the airport or a hotel or when I'm out and about in a city. It never happens when I am at home. And I guess that has to do with the fact when you travel, you're around and you see a lot more people. But I just always find that kind of interesting. So it was cool to see a viewer. So shout out to Grant. All right, you guys, so let's get to it. First of all, copyright versus trademark. I wanted to pull this up because I don't want to misquote this or say it incorrectly, but basically copyrights protect your original work. So if you do a blog post, for example, that post, as long as it's original, it's copyrighted by you. If you come up with a t-shirt idea that's original, it's copyrighted by you. There's nothing legally you have to do to have a copyright on something that's original. However, if you want to sue somebody, as it says here, then you have to register a copyright. I've never done this. And most people who do t-shirts don't do this either. Now, if you want to protect a word, a name, a phrase, or a symbol, that's when the trademark comes in. So let's say you wanted to trademark the phrase Juicy Mama. Maybe you own juicymama.com and you want to create some t-shirts, then you could trademark Juicy Mama, just not .com, but Juicy Mama for t-shirts. So no one else can create t-shirts with the phrase Juicy Mama. That's a trademark. So that's something you might want to do if you have a website and you're trying to brand yourself, or if you have a shirt that's been selling really, really well with that phrase and you want to lock down that phrase, you can file a trademark. So that's the difference. So this is what confuses people. So you see this shirt here, it says, my student stole my heart. Let's say this is your shirt. Now, if somebody else wants to do a shirt that says my student stole my heart, but they use a different font, different art, that's fair game because you don't own a trademark on the phrase my student stole my heart. So it's not infringing on anyone if you do another shirt. Now, is it annoying as the original creator when somebody does that? Yes. But as long as the phrase is not trademarked and they do their own artwork, their own fonts or whatever, it's fair game. Now, if you are not up on how to check trademarks for phrases, there are tons of videos on YouTube that show you how to do this. I think Merch Informer has a really, really good video out for how to use the USPTO to check trademarks. So I would highly recommend you watch that if you're not familiar with how to do that. I'm not going to go into that in this video. I think it'll make it too long. But I also wanted to point out something here. For those of you who say merch is dead, merch is saturated, I just want to show you something. This shirt, pretty basic shirt. It's not even niche down. It's just to teachers. It was created on January 28th, 2019. This shirt here, another generic Valentine's Day shirt, was created on January 18th, 2019. Both of them, as you can see by the BSR, they're selling quite a bit. So to people who say merch is saturated, and I mean no disrespect here. Some of you all are not going to like what I'm going to say, but I'm going to say it. If you're not selling organically, you're doing something wrong. Is merch more competitive than it was a year ago? Heck, 6 months ago? Absolutely. Real talk, I have to upload a lot more to make the same, right? And I got into this knowing that. So this is not a surprise to me, but the fact that this person uploaded these at the end of January and they sold for this Valentine's Day shows that it does work. Now, these are generic keywords that they target. I personally would not do this. However, the designs stuck. So maybe there were already some My Student Stole My Heart shirts out there, but perhaps this design was just better. And look at this. It's a generic keyword target, but the design is really cool. And I'm a firm believer this is how the algorithm works with Amazon. They rank every shirt for the keyword you target, and they give the shirt a chance to get a click. So it's testing click-through rates and sales. So if your shirt gets a lot of clicks, it's going to continue to rank. If it doesn't, it's going to fall off. That's why some of you never see your shirts. And so if you're going to target a generic phrase like this, your design needs to be on point. And look at these designs. They both stand out, especially this one. This is really, really cool. So you either go after generic or hot keywords and make a really good design, or find better keywords, niche down keywords. And that's kind of what I tend to do right now. But I'm still selling organically, and I am not having trouble selling new designs. Now, I will say January for me was low. It sucked. It's probably one of my lowest months in a couple of years. However, on January 23rd, it was like somebody flipped a switch, and I hadn't sold a brand new shirt in 3 weeks, which is a very long time for me in terms of selling a new shirt. And then since then, I've been selling new shirts with no problem. And February is looking a whole lot better than January was. If you can see up here, I've sold 43 shirts today. This time last month at this time of day, I had like 10 shirts or 5 shirts, which is very, very low for me. But this looks a lot better. But yeah, January was slow, but it doesn't bother me. This is why I diversified. This is why I sell courses. This is why I do YouTube. This is why I do so many things, because I don't want to ever have to rely on this stuff. All right, so I kind of took a detour there, but I just wanted to make that clear. Now, if you want to report your designs for the various PODs, you can really just Google, report infringement for Redbubble, TeePublic, or takedown for whatever site, and there will be a link that comes up, or you can scroll down to the bottom of their sites, and they typically will have links to contact them for this. So for Redbubble, for example, you just email them at dmca@redbubble.com, and they tell you what to include in your email. Now, for Amazon, they have an infringement report that I have used quite a bit, and I've had pretty much everything I've reported taken down with the exception of one design. And let me tell you guys, this person created this design about, 14 or 15 months ago. It's still out there and it's selling more than me. I would estimate that this person has probably made at least $5,000 or $6,000 off of this shirt. All they did was they took my shirt and they changed it just enough. And you could tell, if I were to ask 100 people and say, can you tell that they just took this design, modified it a little bit and re-uploaded? 99 people would say that is clearly your design, but they changed it just enough. And I was surprised that Amazon didn't take it down because there's so much detail that is just like my shirt. It's frustrating. Yeah. And so now they priced it lower and they're selling way more than I am. And it's annoying. But anyway, hey, when you come out here, you have to understand you're going to have to deal with it. Bottom line. But anyway, this is how you fill out the complaint report here. So I always check rights owner and then I choose copyright concerns. Now, if you have a trademark on a phrase like I talked about earlier, then you would choose trademark concerns. So typically I will choose copyright. For this one, I'm always kind of like, which one do I pick? But I've typically been picking this one. The product or its packaging is pirated. Wholesale copying of the copyrighted product. In this case, it's the image. I guess you could also do the image is used without authorization on the product detail page. Either one. I typically choose this one. I'm not ever really sure, but this works. So for the brand, I just put whatever brand that I have on the shirt. And then for here, I just describe the design, just a text description. My original artwork includes a picture of a red heart with a dolphin inside. The text reads, I love dolphins. So just something like that. That seems to work. Here, you will put a link to your shirt. So Amazon.com/ whatever the ASIN is, blah, 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 blah. Copyright registration number. If you have a copyright registration, like I talked about earlier, then you would put that there. I don't ever have that. And then, have you bought the item and confirmed? I always say no, because why would I buy my stolen shirt? And then any additional information here. Now, here is where you paste the copycatter shirt. And it's going to auto-populate the title here. So I just picked a random shirt on Amazon. Now, this is where people screw up. You want to click this and then choose specific images. And then the image is going to show up, and then you check that. This is what a lot of people don't do. And then they get a reply and it says your report is not complete. So you definitely want to make sure you do that. Now you just come down here and fill out all your name, your info, and all that type of stuff. And that should do it. And so after about 24 to 48 hours, you should get an email from Amazon saying that your design has been removed. Hopefully. Yeah, but there's a fine line when it comes to some of these things. Some people change it just enough and Amazon's like, sorry, there's not enough evidence. And that's kind of what happened with one of my shirts, which really, really sucks. Now, one thing that I like to do that really does help deter copycats is distress the design, especially like this one, because if you notice, part of the flag is missing. And so when somebody takes a screen grab of an image, it makes it much harder for them to lift the image up if it's broken up like this. So distressing your designs is a great tip if you want to protect your work. I do a lot of this. And I don't think I have ever seen any of my distressed designs on other platforms. Sometimes I wonder why I don't just distress everything, to be honest. The other thing you can do on TeePublic and Redbubble is you can watermark your designs. And a lot of people struggle with this. They say, and there's been some evidence that if you do this, sales drop. I'm okay with that. You know, I would much rather protect my designs. I will say for me, when I did this on Redbubble and TeePublic, I did not notice any significant drop in sales. But unfortunately, there's no way I'm ever going to be able to prove that. So I think it's worth it for me. Now, let me talk about why I don't chase copycats. Now, don't get me wrong. If I have a good seller on Amazon, I will search for it to see if anybody has copied it because I know that that person can make a lot of money with it, and I will report those. But outside of that, you guys, there are literally thousands and thousands of websites popping up almost every day where people are scraping designs and publishing them to the other sites. If I were to chase all of those sites, it would be counterproductive for me. For me, you might feel differently. I had to decide what makes sense for my sanity and profits. If I spent the time chasing copycats, and many of these copycats will never make anything from what they're doing, it would take my energy from creating new designs. So I probably would make less money overall because I'd spend my energy chasing copycats. And there are sites popping up all the time. So at the end of the day, I just realized if I want to do print on demand, this is something I'm going to have to deal with. It sucks. If it bothers me that much, well, then I need to stop uploading and do something else. Now, there are some things you can do to deter copying, such as the watermarks, doing distressed designs. But at the end of the day, there are always going to be people out there that are going to start copying. Now, some people will say, well, to me, it's worth it because if we all go after them, it's going to stop, blah, 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 blah. Sure. And it may stop some, but there are always going to be people that are going to do it. And for me, with my business, it's just more productive for me to focus on creating. I put more of my energy into creating. Now, if I run across something, sure, I will report it, but I don't go chasing stuff because if I did, honestly, I probably would be so discouraged that I would quit. I mean, I have literally thousands and thousands of designs out here. And I just don't have time to chase copycats. Now, some of you might want to hire someone to do that for you. Hey, whatever floats your boat. But for me, it's just counterproductive mentally and physically to just chase copycats because I'm sure if I go looking for it, I will just be blown away. And it's just not productive for me, honestly. So let me know what you guys think. And if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you later.